Six. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to actually create a new document. So I'm just going to say file. Sorry, I'm going to go back to here. After Effects, composition, new composition. I'm going to keep the same settings for now, and I'll have a brand new composition over here. So one thing you'll notice is I can go back to project, and I actually have my old composition, which was the one we just did before, on here. So that's quite powerful. And the way that works is I can actually drag this composition 1 into my composition 2, and now I have this animation. So basically, if you think about it, there's this video that I did earlier, this basic motion graphic, and I can in a way put it kind of like in a Flash, I can put movie within movie. So then if I want to edit that one, I would just double click on composition 1, do my editing there. But now I'm back in composition 2. But for now, I'm going to close composition 1. That's fine. So I'm within composition 2, and we're going to work today just a little bit with text, and I'll show you some couple of things you can do with text. So let's just write some text quickly. I'm going to click on the text tool at the top here, and I'm going to write, let me just write Simba. Okay, here I'm going to make it slightly bigger, and I can, like we've learned, you can open this up, transform, and then I'm going to scale it. And this is not going to be beautiful, but anyway, I'm going to drag it somewhere here. And let's just put a nut, and then I'll click on the text tool again over here, and I'm going to write Wakati. Okay, and then I'm going to go and do the same thing for this in terms of increasing the size. So here we are. Let's make it even bigger. Why not? And now that I've done that, we go back to the arrow and put it into place. Let's just say I want it somewhere here. Okay, so I kind of like, let's put this, sort of arrange it. So Simba Wakati, let's just say I want this to be my sort of ending screen. So put the text however you want. Okay, so I have 2 layers, and you'll see that every time I put a text tool and put it down on my screen, it created automatically another layer. So I have 2 layers, one with Wakati, one with Simba, and let's just leave those 2 for now. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to animate a couple of things. I'm going to have Simba come in from the top, and Wakati come in from the side, let's say, but I want it to end like this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on each of the layers. I'm going to start with Wakati. And I'm going to go and at my, let's just say at the 10-second mark for now, I'm going to click on the position tool here. So give it a keyframe here. I'm going to do the same at the bottom down here. At the same spot, I'm going to click position here. So what I've done now is I've basically designated that this was the 10-second mark. At the 10-second mark, this is where I want the animation to end, or the text animation, motion graphic to end. So now I can do different things. This is going to be very simple. We're going to say that it's going to take a long time, 10 seconds long. But anyway, let's just, for the sake of it, we'll try it out. So down here is now I want it to go off screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually drag this. Sorry, that was the Wakati. It's not what I wanted. I wanted the Simba. So I'm actually going to, just for the sake of that's on top of that, I'm going to drag the Simba on top there. But anyway, so what I'm going to do now, I have my keyframe here. So I'm going to go to the, that was up, so let's just start with that. So this is going to be up off the screen. I'm going to drag it off the screen. So now what you're going to see happens is over the 10 seconds, I'm going to see that Simba is going to go down over here. And then we said we'd do Wakati coming from the left-hand side. So we do the same thing over here, but now this is Wakati. I'm actually going to get rid of this keyframe that was there by mistake. But I'm now going to go and put this guy off the screen as well. I'm going to click and drag so Wakati gets off the screen. It's taken, sorry about that. Just put this coming from the side and this thing coming from the bottom. Obviously you can time it differently, so if you don't, let's just say I wanted Simba to start, then when it gets about to this point where Simba falls down, I only want Wakati to start at that point. I would then just drag this keyframe over here. And now what you'll see happening is that Simba sort of starts to fall, and then only when it gets to this point, we're doing different things like that. Okay, and then so that's kind of just basic text animation, and obviously like this all takes a long time. So really, if I wanted to do like an interesting animation that doesn't take, you'd probably want to drag this and have it happen over like 1 second or something, and then do the same sort of. I'm doing this really roughly. And then have this happen sort of roughly here, and then you can continue animating as you wish. So I've done the same animation, so this should happen a lot faster. We'll show you how to test it out afterwards. So this is simple text animation. Okay, another thing you can do, which is this. So these are the basic settings, the default settings. One thing I didn't talk about before, but is that there's something called a 3D layer in After Effects too. And what this does, let me show you. You toggle it with this, and I believe it's actually. I wonder what does that do? Does that toggle it? I'm not sure what that does. Anyway, but if you click on this little cube over here, that converts this layer into a 3D layer. And what that does, let me just show you what happens. I'm going to click it. It now gives me an addition. So see, this is how it looked like before. In addition, I have this X, Y, and Z axis. So what that does, which is kind of funky, is I can actually play around with, you can see that within 3D space. So that's like up, down. I can have it sort of come to, this is, sorry, this is now, this is up, this is that. And the Z rotation, I believe, is actually coming, this is going down. So is the, I'm trying to remember now, this is the Z rotation is, my computer is quite slow. You'll notice it's got a lot of, takes a lot of memory. After Effects. Let me just play around with that. This is the one I want now. What's the? It's the Y rotation that comes towards you, I guess. I wanted to see if I could get the Simba sort of as if it's facing me. I think that's, yeah, that's better. So that's sort of, okay, it looks pretty horrible. But I guess what I wanted to show you is that you have these different axes. So what I can do now is do stuff, again, like everything in After Effects, you can animate it. So it's sort of coming at this axis. But let's just say I wanted to actually animate as it does that. Same sort of thing. I would put a keyframe there, or wherever, letting you know that you want to animate that layer. And then over time, I can have it, do different things. So I could go back to where it was before. And now what's going to happen? It's going to sort of fall down and animate that layer. Yeah, I mean, it's not looking very good, but I guess the idea is just to understand the concepts of the 3D. I'm going to uncheck the 3D layer now. Let's forget the 3D thing, but I just thought it'd be worth showing you. Other things you can do is I think we'll just leave it at that now. I mean, I wanted so one thing that you see a lot in like text animations or like music videos that so let's just say Simba comes down, or let's say Wakati here, and then you have it sort of fall down or flip down. What you might do here is I would now create this one into a 3D layer, and now I have these other options down here. And now what I might do now is, let me just see what rotation I'm looking for. Yeah, this is it. I'm going to have it. Actually, what I should have done is put a keyframe when it looks normal. So I'm going to put a keyframe here. Let it know that it looks a keyframe here, and I'm going to move it a little bit further. And then I'm going to do that so it looks like it's sort of falling over itself, and maybe even like swinging backwards, almost like it's swinging. That might be a bit too much. And then I'm going to go back here a bit further, and I'm actually going to swing it back the other way. Not quite, like something like that. And then I'm going to go a bit further and swing it back. And then let me see what I'll do at this point. Maybe I'll swing it one more time back, something like that. And then maybe at this point is where I would have it fall off the screen. So the way I would do that is I would then click on position, so create a keyframe here, so that position is now locked. And now I'll go a bit further, and I'm going to take the position off the screen. And what I'll do is, in this case, I'll just drag it down so it goes off the screen. So that automatically, you'll notice, will create a keyframe. So now if I look at my animation, my computer's kind of, you can hear it buzzing like an engine. It's the processor's not happy with me. But anyway, so now what happens is I scroll it down. Simba comes down. Wakati comes from the side. Then I have this whole thing sort of animating, and then it falls off the screen. So I want to test my video and see how it looks like in real time. The way to do that is I'm going to actually, this thing is like a rendering engine. So let's say I don't want to worry about rendering the whole thing. I can just click on it. The only part I want to test is this little bit here. And that's just going to speed up the rendering. And the way I do that next is if I hit spacebar, it's going to try and play the video. So you can kind of see what it does, and then it falls off bar. So that's kind of cool. I mean, it's not beautiful, but anyway, I have an animation that looks like that. So in this case, my computer is pretty fast. The green line means it's playing in real time. Depending on your computer, if the green line is not there all the way, it means it's not rendering properly. But let me stop there, otherwise I'll just go on and on for a while.